United States of America, President Barack Obama.
Good to see you. I just want to say everybody back home, right back at you. We appreciate you. You always get the straight talk.
And welcome to Straight Talk. Well, today's Straight Talk is going to talk about lively things that keep you alive, things that we all should be thinking about in a very serious way. And we're going to talk about with the head man of the Chicago division, the state of Illinois division of the Illinois Rifle Association, Mr. Richard Pearson.
I'm glad to be here.
Glad to have you on the show, sir.
So,
Would you tell the audience what the Illinois Rifle Association is all about?
well, the Illinois Rifle Association has been around for a long time. They've been around 116 years. So
Wow.
And I know that I look old, but I wasn't there at the beginning. I came in 5 years later. But anyway, so we've been around for 116 years. We were founded in 1903. And we were part of the National Defense Appropriation of 1903. And our job was to train civilians in marksmanship before entering the United States military. And we still do that. Our job has expanded greatly since then. We started with 9 members, and now we have 27,000.
Wow.
So we have a lot more members, and we actually represent all aspects of firearm ownership in Illinois. We specialize in Illinois. We don't go anywhere else. But Illinois is complicated enough that there's a lot to do here.
You're affiliated with the United States division as well.
Well,
right?
we're affiliated with the NRA, but we were actually founded as a Department of the Army. And we were a Department of the Army until 1992. And then President Clinton said that was the end of that. And so now we're affiliated with the Civilian Marksmanship Program. And so we work with the Army and the Marine Corps, the Navy, Coast Guard, Air Force in other ways.
Well, you know, what amazes me, it's you guys were in operation for all these years, and all these years the state of Illinois has had a stringent firearm restriction.
Right. We were the firearms restrictions as it comes through the FOID card was done in 1968, and Mayor Daley, the original Mayor Daley, was a very powerful man at the time, and he said we're either going to register firearms or register firearm owners. And so that's how the firearm owner's identification card came about.
Right.
In that way. And so it started out innocently enough. It was $1 a year for 5 years. It was $5 for 5 years. And it's still $1 for a year for 10 years. Now it's a 10-year card. And you have to go through a background check to get it. And so if you have a FOID card, you go through a background check in Illinois every night. There's only 5 nights you don't go through a background check, and those are the days that the courts aren't open in Illinois, which are Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, Easter, and the 4th of July.
Wow.
So if you're a firearm owner and you have a firearm owner's identification card, you have to be a pretty reputable character because every night you go through a background check. People in Illinois don't realize that. In 2018, the state police performed 914 million plus background checks on Illinois citizens.
And it stays on the screen for the state police. You pull it up at any time.
Right. So recently we've had a lot of proud people want to make the FOID card impossible for people to own. We had a lawsuit about the FOID card back in the 80s, and it said that $1 a year was not oppressive. So that's what the court said. But this new proposal they have would be about $200 for 5 years or $40 a year, and that is oppressive.
For the Ford card?
For a Ford card. It's called SB 1966, and it is there simply to stop people from owning firearms, because you can't own a firearm unless you have a Ford card.
Right.
And so that becomes a real problem. It's a real obstacle.
Can't they resort back to the Constitution?
Well, we will. We have already have 2 lawsuits ready to go if they pass that bill. The next time that bill will come up will be October the 28th, 29th, or 30th of October is the next time we'll see that bill. But it's a terrible bill. It causes the average family, the average person, it's just too expensive for them. They just can't exercise their fundamental rights.
That's why they had to get rid of Browner.
Yeah. The fundamental rights of the Second Amendment, the First Amendment, all the first 10 amendments are fundamental rights. And it just, you can't charge too much for them. You don't pay tax on a newspaper, for example, because it would be taxing the right of free speech.
Right.
Well, if they do this with a Ford card, I'm sure the law would be found unconstitutional. And we're just the people for that. We will be more than happy to sue the government for civil rights anytime.
Well, the Supreme Court merely said, come up with a suitable way for the people to be able to carry the weapon in the state of Illinois, or we will resort back to the Constitution. They can carry under the Constitution. They gave them 90 days to get it together.
Right, and they did. I worked on that
coming
bill.
Coming up with the buying conceal and carry is not constitutional. You see, the person has a right to keep and bear arms. Now, if I have a right to keep and bear arms, what does that conceal and carry do? Nothing.
Well, the Supreme Court said it was subject to some regulation, and that became the problem with it, and so that's how we got this.
So I guess that's the regulation.
Yes, but the some regulation is you can't keep people from doing it if they're law-abiding citizens.
Right.
And so we fought for that. We got it, and so it's expensive, but it works, and it's recognized now in 28 other states. So if you have an Illinois concealed carry license, it's called a license in Illinois, there are 28 other states you can go to.
What, northern states, southern states?
All over the country.
Oh, okay.
About the only ones that actually you have a problem with are the eastern states. New York, Maryland, Delaware, those states are the ones that cause problems because we have a shall issue license. And that's one of the things that we insisted on is that if you qualify, no criminal record, pass the class, the state has to give you a license. Okay. In New York, you have to know somebody to get the license.
Yeah, but I went to, I was Jesse Jackson's bodyguard, and I was a private detective. And went to New York. I went to the police station because he had a big affair in the park the next day. So I wanted to let the police know I'm here to protect Jesse Jackson, show them my credentials. Mm-hmm. I'm armed. New York has the most stringent laws in this country as well.
Yes.
So this sergeant got up, took my credentials in the back to the lieutenant. Lieutenant came out, said, "Mr. Lillard?" I said, "Yes." "Come on, follow me." I went over, he went underneath the stairs. He said, "There's nothing I can give you to legitimize a weapon."
Yeah, exactly.
He said, he said, "I see you're a private detective. Even sworn officers from police departments, it takes at least a week to get a permit for them if they're coming into New York."
Right.
So I said, "Well, okay." He said, "Well, don't let that stop you from doing your job now."
Yeah,
Just
exactly.
told me I can't give you anything to protect you. He says, "So if you have to use your gun, use it and protect Reverend Jackson." And he said, we have to arrest you. I dropped. He said, no. He said, arrest and out of there within a half hour.
Exactly. I know. Yeah.
so, so they, they're stringent, but if you're in law enforcement, policemen go to. If a policeman come from Chicago or from any other state or city, they have to give us at least a three-week notice for us to get permission for them to have a gun in New York legally.
Right.
But if they're policemen, ain't nobody gonna bother them anyway. What difference does it make?
Exactly. Well, we've had we had a lady that came in from Michigan that had a concealed carry permit, and so she came into O'Hare Field.
Mm-hmm.
She retrieved her firearm, and she went and asked a policeman, said, "I have this concealed carry permit, and so I want to know what I'm supposed to do with the firearm," and they arrested her. Took her firearm, but it took us, we never got the firearm back. We got her out of trouble, and somebody donated a firearm to her. So the laws in Illinois are pretty tough, too. So
Was that recently?
Huh?
That was recently?
That was like 5 years ago. Yeah.
It's recent, yeah.
Yeah. So, so we have those problems in Illinois. So that's one of the reasons the Illinois State Rifle Association exists, is to fight for those people.
Right.
Because unless you have an organization, you can't fight the state, you can't fight the city. They're just too big and too tough. But with 27,000 member organization, and we have lawyers all over the place, it's important that gun owners be a member, because we'll fight for you. We can't fight for every gun owner, but we'll fight for our members.
I don't think there are that many policemen in the state of Illinois. 27,000.
There's a 12,000 or something. No, there's more than 12,000. There's about 18,000.
Maybe, yeah, 18 to 20.
But anyway, so we do a lot. We've actually sued municipalities, including the city of Chicago, state of Illinois. We sued them 17 times, and we've won 16. And the one that we lost is on appeal. So we haven't lost it yet, but it's possible.
Right. What really gets my claw is the fact that they think they can override the Constitution.
Yeah.
The Constitution said, come up with a suitable law to allow them to carry under the Constitution, or they would be able to carry under the Constitution.
Exactly.
So it didn't tell you to go through all this stuff that they're going through.
No, but it's the world we live in, and we're not done with the concealed carry law. We're trying to make it less expensive, make it last longer, that sort of thing. But it's what we have to work with. But you can't do it unless you're organized. You just, as an individual, if you go to the state of Illinois or the city of Chicago and ask for help, unless you've got somebody behind you, you're just out of luck.
Well, one good example of what you're saying, I went to the state police in Springfield, told them I wanted to renew my Ford card. He said, well, write your name down here, your telephone number, and someone will call you in the next 5 days. Mm-hmm. He said, now, if they call you and you're on the phone, they're not going to call you back.
Exactly. You get one shot at it, and they get to control it.
Right. So I said, wow. I come to an office where Richard Pearson was. You said, give me your card. I took my old card. You got on the phone and called, gave them all the information, and my application was made right then and there. That's the advantage of having an organization.
That's true.
Behind you.
When we do the stuff in-house, we have to submit it to the state police.
Right.
Right now, it's taking about 90 days to get some of the FOID cards out. It's terrible. I think that will get fixed by the end of the year. The state police, when we passed the Concealed Carry Act, were underfunded. The Governor Quinn only allowed 13 people in the FOID card division, and the proper staffing for it was 39. So they cut the staff by 2/3. So that's why it took forever to get anything done, and they're still recovering from that.
Right.
When we passed the Concealed Carry Act, that money was to go fund the FOID card and get the concealed carry permits out. So the state police in the last 5 years have collected $32 million off the concealed carry card. All right, that's their share. All right, it was $32 million. But then the people in the legislature reduced their appropriation by $32 million, so it got us nowhere. So we're working on fixing that right now, but that's the kind of thing you deal with in Springfield. I'm a lobbyist in Springfield, and people say, "Oh, lobbyists are bad." Well, lobbyists actually are the, to a large degree, are the ones who know most about government and how it works.
Right.
A lot of the legislators are only there for a year or two, and by the time they learn, they're gone. And so the people who represent groups, whether it's the gun owners of Illinois or whether it's the schools of Illinois or whether it's whatever it is of Illinois, the nurses of Illinois, they're the people who actually get the things done. And that's why if you belong to the Illinois State Rifle Association, if you're a gun owner, we would love to have you. And so it becomes important that we have enough members. When people go to the legislature, and I go talk to the governor, or I talk to somebody down there, a senator or a representative or a department head, if I go there and I tell them I represent 5 people, they'll take my name and call me someday. But if I would go in there and say I represent 25,000 people, that gets their interest.
Right.
If I could represent 100,000 people, it would really get their interest. And so that's why joining organizations who fight for you are important.
Well, you people hear that. I know almost everyone who's watching this program right now are gun owners. Join the Illinois Rifle Association. It's called Rifle Association.
Yeah, Illinois State Rifle Association. We actually represent all kinds of gun owners, whether they own a shotgun, a handgun, or competitors, or a lot of times police officers or security people.
Right.
We help every law-abiding citizen who's a member. We'll take, and we're glad to have them, and we'll do whatever we can for you.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Keep that in mind. We're going to give you a telephone number to call or address to.
Yeah, you can call us at 815-635-3198. Or if you have a computer, you can join on the web, which is isra.org. So it's isra.org, and it says join, and you can join online, which is why a lot of people do it nowadays.
And, well, we're going to have a lot more, too, because this is very, very important. You know, togetherness, you win. Separated, you lose.
That's right. And one of the things I want you to know out there that we see people without the best intentions are always trying to separate the people of Illinois.
Right.
All right, that's how they win. But if the people of Illinois, like the gun owners, get together and stay together, they don't win. It's simple as that. So they try to put roadblocks in your way. We represent a lot of people who hunt, a lot of people interested in self-defense, a lot of people who shoot competitively, a lot of people who just collect firearms. And they've always tried to separate those people, saying, well, we won't bother you, we'll just bother those other people.
Right.
That is never the truth. That is never the truth. They're going to bother everybody. They're just trying to cut you down to size to take you on one at a time.
That is absolutely true. That's absolutely true. And you see it all the time.
You do. And so we've done a good job of keeping the gun owners in our organization together. We had a rally in Springfield in the latter part of, or the first part of April, and we had 7,000 people show up for that rally.
7,000.
That's the biggest rally in Springfield. And other than Donald Trump had one, but I can't compare to him. He's got a better draw than I do. But anyway, so that makes a big difference. We had it's called Illinois Gun Owners Lobby Day, iGold for short, and so everybody that we sell gold T-shirts, gold hats, gold handkerchiefs. Everybody wears something in gold. The signs are black and gold.
Gold bullets?
No, we don't have any gold bullets. I can't afford those. Gold's too expensive. but
At least I asked.
I know, I don't blame you. But anyway, so when we walk down that street, you see 7,000 people dressed in black and gold. It makes an impression, and there's nothing they can do. There are the people. They're the people that they're supposed to be representing, and they don't like what the legislature or what the governor is doing. So that's what you have to do. You have to be there, and you have to be organized, and you have to have a message. If you show up unorganized or without a message, it doesn't mean much.
One more time, give me your address and telephone number to the group. I got to write it down myself so I could join right away.
I will give it to you later.
Okay.
But anyway, it's Illinois State Rifle Association, and the website is isra.org, O-R-G, and the telephone number is 815-635-3198. It's best to call between 9 and 4:30, okay? On Friday mornings, we have a meeting we don't get out of till about 9:30, and on Tuesday mornings, we have a meeting we don't get out of till about 9:30. But the rest of the time, we're there, and this is very important to have a civil rights group like the Illinois State Rifle Association fighting for you makes all the difference.
All the difference in the world. Plus, you also have a training camp, right?
We have training. We have this year, if you can believe this, we now have from January through now until the end of the year, we have 312 events planned. That's a lot of events. I don't care who you are. That is over an event a day someplace.
Right.
All right. Now they're all over the state, so you don't see them necessarily. But we have monthly meetings. We have a meeting in Midlothian, for example. That's one. And so we have a meeting in Carbondale. That's a monthly meeting. Then we go around. We actually, Bill Potts and I, who you met, Bill, I believe, that day, been on with the white beard. Yeah. We put on seminars around that last about an hour and a half on how you can get active and how you can be a part of this. And actually make a difference. I watch people come down to Springfield all the time, and they are, I don't want to say they're crying and whining, but they're crying and whining, okay? But they don't have any message. They don't give anybody any idea what can be done, And if you do that, then it's like running a restaurant and you don't have anything but empty plates. You're not going to last very long. You have to be organized, and we are. We've been at this a very long time, and we'll fight for gun owners' rights. And if you're out there and a firearm owner would like to be, we'd love to have you as a member. Simple as that.
And that's great. That's really great. We need to have everybody who owns a weapon a part of the organization. The more we have in the organization, the stronger the organization is, and the likely you will have a much easier route to go instead of being harassed by law enforcement or harassed by anyone. You're not going to do that if you're part of an organization, a massive organization that can ruin them.
Keep that in mind. We have represented gun owners in over 500 cases, and to this time we have never lost one. Now, we pick our cases. I'm not going to, some guy that's dealing drugs or holding up the savings alone, we're not going to represent, okay? But we had a gentleman, and I'm bragging right now. I'm just going to tell you, I'm bragging. Over in Knox County, he was a young man, and but he had a concealed carry permit. And we'll just say an overzealous deputy arrested him.
Even with the permit?
With the permit. And so he loses his gun. He spends a night in jail and gets out. and his dad was an Illinois State Rifle Association member. And so his dad calls me the next day and says, what can we do about this? I said, well, you tell your son that we'll take the case. We'll just take the case. So the state's attorney calls the dad about an hour or two later, and he says, why don't you come in and we'll talk about this. Well, we're well known for suing governments and winning. And so the dad says, well, the Illinois State Rifle Association is going to take my son's case. He said, well, what did you say? The state's attorney said, what did you say? He said, the Illinois State Rifle Association is going to take my son's case. He said, why don't you have your son come in, and you can come in, and why don't we just drop all the charges on this, and he'll get his firearm back, and we'll just leave it at that. Okay? So...
What the hell was he charging him with?
Probably, a felony weapons charge of some kind. You know, he would have beat it, probably, but it would have taken forever.
But if he had a concealed carry...
I know, but he'd still wind up having to go to court. See, the problem is this. The way some groups work, like governments, they know that they're going to lose, but they have unlimited money and you don't.
Right.
That's how this works. You know, you don't have unlimited money. All right? But they do. And if they need more, they just tax you more money. That's actually what it amounts to.
You know, I had an accident on the expressway and hit my pocket. I didn't have my wallet.
Yeah.
No identification. State police come. He said, can I have your driver's license? I said, I don't have anything to identify me but this gun. He laughed and continued doing what he was doing. Went to his car. He never said anything. You know, he knew it was something. He guy showed me a gun. There's got to be something. So he, after he talked to all the other people who were involved in the accident, he went to sit down in his car, and he called for me to come over and give my statement of what happened to the accident. And my phone was going down. I said, hey, do you have a charger? He said, no. I said, let me out. Get my charger. I come back. He said, give me 1 minute. Just give me 1 minute. He said, I'll be done, and you can just go, period. So then he said, oh, no, yes, I got something else to do. Okay. He opened the door. He said, go ahead, get your charger. So I went back to my car. There was another state policeman in my car searching. I said, you looking for something? He said, oh, no, I was just looking around to see what was what.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Do you know that that's a violation of the Fourth Amendment?
Yeah.
You don't have a search warrant.
Right.
And you don't have any probable cause.
Right. So I said, what is it? He said, let me see your ID. I said, like I told the other officer, I don't have anything to show but this gun for my identification. Oh, okay. So he walked back to the other guy. We both were walking that direction. I stopped to talk with Tony. He was with me. And when I stopped to talk with Tony, he went over to the car. He said, did you see a gun on that guy? He said, how could I miss it? With that big budge on this side. What are you talking about? But look who he is. He pointed down at the screen, right?
Yeah, right.
He said,
Exactly.
wow, this guy's been around. Chief of police, deputy chief of police. I could hear him talk. He'd come back, he wanted to shake my hand. You've been around.
Right. You know, one of the things you can do, as long as you don't throw it around, is take a picture of your FOID card and your driver's license with your cell phone.
Right.
You know, and you've got to make sure your phone's protected so not everybody in the world can see it.
Right.
But if you get in that sort of situation, that can come in handy.
Yes.
So.
Because that's a good idea. A photograph in the glove compartment of the car at all times.
Yeah.
But that could be dangerous too. Somebody steal your car. This is my car. See.
That's right. So there actually was a bill to make it available to Illinois citizens to have an electronic FOID card. They'd have a real one, but they could have it on their phone also.
Right.
Because more people are likely to carry their phone these days than their wallet.
Right. Right.
So you've got to have the FOID card on you. You have some time to get it, but if you carry your FOID card with you, you're a firearm owner, and your concealed carry permit, you're a lot better off than if you don't.
And that's a better idea. Good idea too. To just take a picture of each one
Yeah.
It's in your phone.
Right.
Yeah. So we're going to take a little break, Richard, and let the audience see some of the things that we're doing. We'll be right back after these messages. Bye-bye.
Hi! Hoping for a crisp breeze to help keep you alert. Oh, he took a sip of water too. That'll probably help. You were probably going to turn down the radio too, so you could focus, right?
Probably okay isn't okay.
Right.
If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend.
I think the water line is what really drove it home. I blew on him. Hi, I'm a warning sign. I let people know when they're... Oh, gotta go.
I'll be right back.
Hi!
Tropical World. Come to Golden's Tropical World for tropical fish of all sizes, colors, and types, and other small animals like iguanas and birds from all over the world. There are beautiful tanks, pet supply needs, including dog and cat foods, and expert consultation. Check out Golden's Tropical World, 8611 South Ashland Avenue, Chicago, Illinois. Call ahead, 773-239-8809. Your pet shop.
Hart, what's going on?
I'm leaving.
Why? What did I do?
Not enough. You constantly ignore me. You barely eat anything healthy. You're half as active as you used to be. The pressure is just too much. I quit.
Okay, I get it. I'll do better. Just please, don't leave.
Okay. But remember, if I go, you go.
Listen to your heart. Don't let it quit on you. Uncontrolled high blood pressure could lead to stroke, heart attack, or death. Get yours to a healthy range before it's too late.
No, I'm scared.
Do you know that you're in my lane? No, not at all. Are you not paying attention? Are you texting? I was just checking in with my mom. I was telling her that I thought we'd be home by 6. It's okay. There's enough time. Just pay attention. I'm not even halfway through my text. There's no way. I'm not even going to look up. My babies are in the car. You have to pay attention. It's just supposed to be a quick text. I'm so sorry.
What's it like working with your family? Good question.
Right, great question. Original Soul Vegetarian was established over 38 years ago from our parents, so we're second generation owners.
Back then in the 80s, nobody knew what vegan looked like.
But if you say, oh, this is barbecue, they'll eat it and say, oh, it's good.
Original Soul Vegetarian has been an anchor in this community. At least 90% of our clientele aren't vegans.
It has helped the community a lot with being aware of healthy eating and healthier options.
Most of everything that we sell is sourced locally, and it's all made in-house because it's just not about food for us. Your health is your wealth. Just add something healthy to what you're eating. You're gonna feel better.
Right now it says three is watching right here.
All right, okay.
Well, we go to YouTube. I'm gonna go to Facebook because we do live on Facebook as well. Okay, we're back, and we're talking about some of the things that's happening around the world. But good things happen when you join together. Togetherness means bonding. Bonding means together. Together means bonding. We got to pull that together. We got to pull our heads together, and let's all come together and say, okay, we are one, and we are one, protecting one another. What states don't have it? That's, all states have it right now, right? Have concealed carry.
All states have concealed carry. Illinois was the last one.
The very last.
But not all states have shall issue like we have. There were two things that we insisted on. First of all was that it should be shall issue. So there are people like New York, the people there, if some politician doesn't like you or somebody doesn't like you that has power, then you don't get a concealed carry permit. We decided we did not want that for Illinois. One of the reasons is that we were worried about people in the city of Chicago.
Right.
The other thing is that they wanted to cut the city of Chicago and Cook County out of the concealed carry law, and we wouldn't do it. We refused to let them cut out Cook County because that's about 45% of our population. But our theory is your civil rights is not governed by your zip code. Wherever you are, you got them.
And that's very, very true. In the state of Illinois, it's always backwards. Oh, Chicago, it's backwards. We're the last to do anything that's for the people.
Well,
people.
the last for anything for the people, but the first of anything for the government.
For themselves.
That's right. That's right. Yo.
Don't say the government because we're the government.
We're the government. Well, those who govern us. How's that?
No, we govern them. We're supposed to govern them.
Well, we're supposed to.
They've gotten us all screwed up.
They get carried away. I think.
Yeah, they've gotten us screwed up.
Their authority goes way beyond what it actually ought to be.
Right. The Constitution clearly says a government is ran by the governed.
Right. Exactly.
We're the governed.
See, there's a group in this country that like what I call the ruling class idea. Okay. If you look at the people, the politicians, particularly the ones, the national politicians, they think that they're the ruling class, and therefore, because they are in government. That doesn't mean that they know anything. That just means that they're there. It's like, one of the people that I always had an argument with was John McCain. John McCain and I did not see eye to eye on nearly anything, and because he felt entitled. You're not entitled. You're a servant of the people, and you ought to work for the people,
right.
And you ought to work to make things better, not work to get yourself a piece of the pie. You wonder how all these politicians who started out 25 years ago, and all they had is their salary, and now they're worth $50 million. How did that happen? They must have had a good money manager.
What about the parking meters in the city of Chicago? Parking meters belong to the people who bought them. The
right.
people. We bought those parking meters.
And where are they today?
They're still there, but in different form.
That's right.
When we were paying 25 cents to park for an hour, in some areas downtown, we may have to pay 50 cents to park for an hour. Now you got to pay $3 in most places, and in some places $6 to park for an hour.
And if you have to go to a parking deck, how much does it cost you? $25, $30
yeah.
to get out of there.
Right, unless you got a government
card,
stamp,
right.
Government stamp. If you got a government stamp, it's automatic $18.
Right.
Around City Hall and the county building.
Exactly.
But any place else, like I said, it's $35, $40. Right.
Occasionally, I have to. When we passed concealed carry, I did 3 interviews that day. up here in Chicago with 3 different TV stations, and I had to move my car each time.
Right.
It was about $108 I paid for parking that day.
Wow.
You know, so they got their due.
But yeah, but you just think about this though. How can we, the citizens, allow our appointed or elected mayor to sell our parking meters without our consent? There was no.
Well, that's what I meant. But where are the parking meters today? They're owned by somebody else.
Right.
Right. Where are the tollways today?
Owned by someone else.
And where's the Illinois lottery today?
Owned by someone else.
Right.
It has nothing to do with, and you know, and all these things mean that these people are getting still. The people who sold them are still getting money.
Right. Exactly.
They're constantly getting money. And
so
they're out of office now. They can lay back and get the $4 or $5 million a year.
You know, we look at the Illinois government in general, and what happens? You know, we have earmarked funds, and I'm fond of earmarked funds. I pay a lot of gas tax. I drive a lot of miles a year. I want those to go fix the roads in Illinois. I don't care if they fix your road, my road, or somebody else's road, but it's got to go fix the road. Okay, so we do that, and suddenly the roads aren't getting fixed.
They may get fixed, but how long do they last?
Exactly. When I came
2 or
up
3
here
weeks?
today, they put a new code on. I take I-57 north, and there was a hole in the center of that road, and I drive a Suburban, a big vehicle. You know, my Suburban would have been in trouble had it fell in that hole. I don't know what a little car would do. It would wreck the car.
Right.
How come we can't get these roads fixed? You know, how come we can take money off from our roads and use it other places? We shouldn't be able to do that. In the state of Illinois, there's a thing called Central Management Services.
Right.
Central Management Services takes a percentage of every budget. So we pass a road budget, okay? Well, they take a percentage of that budget to supervise the repairing of vehicles and hiring staff and all that kind of stuff. Why do we need to do that? The Department of Transportation is perfectly capable of hiring the people. They don't need Central Management Service. The Department of Natural Resources don't need Central Management Services. Mental Health doesn't need Central Management Service just because they say we do. I deal a lot with the Department of Natural Resources, and years ago, we have a lot of wildlife, wild turkeys and things like that, particularly in southern and western Illinois. And they needed a turkey biologist. So Central Management Services had to hire that. It took them 2 years to find a turkey biologist.
Wow.
Wow. And they're graduating these kids who could be that from Southern Illinois University right here. But they can't find one.
Right. It's I don't know, and it's getting worse. It's getting tighter every week.
Yeah.
I'm not saying month, I'm saying week. And sometimes every day it gets tighter and tighter. And now we want to see what happened with the lady that's in office in the city of Chicago as mayor.
Right.
She's saying all the right things, and I cross my finger that she's following through with it.
I know, but you and I have been around a while.
Yes.
Okay. We have heard
You're
a lot
a little
of people.
longer than me, but
there's a lot of people who say the right things, but in the end, do they do the right things? That's
Right.
the actual test.
Right.
I can promise anybody anything as long as nobody holds me to that promise. But so I don't overpromise anything. I try not to underpromise anything. But I'm gonna. When I say the Illinois State Rifle Association will work for you, I mean it. I'm not kidding either.
Well, one thing she said that really captured my imagination the first time I heard it was they're talking about turning people's water off for non-payment of water bills. God created water, not man.
That's right.
God created water for you to live by.
Right.
You don't have a right to anybody to turn nobody's water off.
That's right. But there's some places that use it I have a mother-in-law that lives downstate. She's 87 years old, 86 years old. I don't want to get her up there too quick because she gets mad at me. But her water bill was $214
For water.
for water. You know, and everybody has to go to City Hall and they have an explanation why the water bill's so much. The reason the water bill's so much is because you're using the money for other things. It's easy.
That's right. That's
you know?
That's exactly right.
You know?
We spend all the money, so we need your money.
That's right. Because we can't manage your money, and you got to trust us and reelect us, by the way.
Right.
Wrong.
Yeah, I wish it was wrong.
You know?
But see, our people in the city of Chicago continue putting these people back in office, and they see what they're doing to us. They continue putting them back in over and over.
So, you know, for one thing, you know, we have the big water cribs out there in Lake Michigan where we get the water from, you know. So the city of Chicago doesn't own those water cribs. The state of Illinois owns those water cribs.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that money comes from the state. It doesn't come from the city, you know. And then, so we get the suburbs using lake water. And every time it gets a little further out, they get another charge. And that's what, so some of those people, you know, the government is actually in the business of bleeding the citizens to death at this point.
Right, and the citizens don't know that they're in charge. You can stop that.
Right.
You know, the Constitution tells them also that you have the right, if a person is not doing the job that you hired him to do, you have a right to go and tell him to leave office.
Exactly. Well, you know, we get an audit every month. Every month, somebody looks at our books, an independent person. Mm-hmm. Every 3 months, we get a deeper audit, and every year we get even a deeper audit.
Right.
You know, when's the last time that anybody audited a government?
You can't think of a time.
That's right. You know, so if private business has to do this, why shouldn't governments get an audit? And the audit should be independent, and the people should get a report what they're doing with their money. I came here. There are people walking around, you know, buying things and, you know, doing, you know, paying their taxes and doing all that kind of stuff. They don't think about it, but well, how much should they be paying in taxes? So what's the sales tax here? 10 or 10 and a quarter?
Sales tax? I'm not sure.
I don't know, but 10 and a quarter %.
Yeah.
How come downstate gets by with 6? Have you ever wondered that?
You know what, Richard, I try and keep that out of my head because I think I would actually run for mayor or run for something.
That's right.
If I get that.
Either run for it or run from it, one of the two, right?
One of the two.
But the point is that people don't think about that because the government is very good at nickel and diming you.
Right.
You know, if you look at your if you look at your phone bill, you look at if you have cable TV bill, but the phone bill particularly, you know, if you look at all the charges on your phone bill, very little of it goes to the phone company. Everybody's taking a chunk here and a chunk there, you know, and so this is the problem with government, and all those little chunks help give them unlimited power.
Right.
And so, and that's why, you know, you have to stand up against those things.
Well, you know,
we've gone way off the Illinois State Rifle Association, but you know, so
we don't have business people running this billion-dollar corporation called Chicago.
That's right.
See, you have a politician, not a business person. So, you know, give you an example. I can remember going to the gas station with my father when I was a child, 11 years old, and he had a car that he had to pay 4 cents a gallon for gas. And car would hold about 10 gallons, so 40 cents to fill his car up. He made 50 cents an hour, so he got 10 cents more than he make per hour.
Right.
I mean, so I contrast that with today. It's $3 a gallon. Even if you only put 10 gallon in, it's $30. How many people making $30 an hour?
Not me.
Not many.
Yeah.
Not many are making $30 an hour. So, you know, they got the minimum wage in Illinois. It's $8.50.
Going to 15, but yeah.
Going to 15 eventually. But right now it's $8. City of Chicago got $12. So minimum wage. So fill your car up with $12 an hour. I mean, fill your car up and see how much.
You still have to work 2.5 hours to do it. You can't even do it on hours pay.
More than 2.5.
Yeah, but I mean 2.5.
So you only talk about $35, $40.
Exactly.
Right.
So if you're making $12 an hour, whatever it is, if it's 40, it takes you a half a day to fill up your car. You know,
Right.
so there's a lot of things that are wrong, and so I see these things as a lobbyist. I have to stick to my job, but this is true about your personal firearms. It's just a way to tax people, and and what happens to the money? Nothing ever seems to get that much better, does it?
Well, years ago, one of my guys was arrested. They took his weapon.
Did what, sir?
They took his weapon.
Hmm?
And went to court, and the judge found him guilty because the police said that he wasn't on duty, and he had been off duty for 3 hours. And the law said you only had 1 hour to and 1 hour from work, if you're a security officer. So I challenged that. I said the man was on duty. My office said he was on duty. So who are you to say he's been off duty for
Exactly.
whatever? So I appealed that to this appellate court. The appellate court said those licenses belong to Mr. Lillard.
That's right.
If he said the man was on duty,
he's on duty.
Even if he's paying him to watch a fire hydrant, what difference does it make? Money's not coming out of my pocket, the state's pocket, or anybody else's pocket. It's Mr. Lillard. If he said the man was on duty, he's on duty.
Exactly.
Case dismissed.
So.
Well,
fortunately, we still have a few judges around that will do that.
Right.
But they're getting fewer. So.
Yeah, many less. Yes, you're right. But we need to come together, like with the Rifle Association, for a number of reasons. Numbers make all the difference. Right.
If you show up at the polls and you don't have enough votes, it doesn't matter. But if you do have enough votes, it does matter. If you show up at a town hall meeting that the politicians put on and you have enough people there, it matters. It matters because, you have to represent yourself and represent your civil rights. If you don't do that, they'll take it from you because it's more convenient. It's more convenient for them if you don't have them.
Right.
That's a matter of convenience. But civil rights aren't about convenience. Civil rights are about making it inconvenient for the government to run over you.
Absolutely.
So.
Absolutely.
And that's what we are. We deal with firearm rights and rights of self-defense. We have a bumper sticker that just came out that says that self-defense is a civil right. You don't have a right to come in my home and kill me. I have a right to defend myself, but you don't have a right to attack me.
And in Chicago, when they had a non-gun act law, and it says you can't have a gun, period. Jane Byrne came up with that, right?
Yep.
This old guy was laying in bed with his gun under his pillow, and he heard a noise, and he looked at the window. There was a guy climbing through his window with a gun in his hand. He and his wife are laying there in bed. His kids are in the room. He got his gun, and the guy saw him just in time to try to shoot him, and he shot the guy. He went back out the window. Now they found he didn't have a registered gun, and so what are you doing with a gun? But they could not lock him up because this man he protected his whole family.
That's right. We had when the Chicago had gun registration, and I am one of the people who helped get rid of that stupid law. The state of Illinois actually passed a law that said if you're in defense of your own life, and gun registration was a city ordinance, that the city ordinance don't count. Your life is what counts. Your ability to defend yourself, your family, and your own life is what counts. The heck with the city ordinance. And so we want everybody to be able to defend themselves. We want them to handle firearms the right way. We want to make sure they're trained and everything, but this is your right, and we're here to defend it.
And I think that's one of the reasons why the concealed carry come about.
It is. We worked hard on that. Otis McDonald was a A friend of mine, Otis, and I got acquainted one of our rallies in Springfield. And, we used to have rallies in the cafeteria downstairs. Holds about, I don't know, probably 300 people maybe. And we used to have rallies down there. We'd have 90 or 100, and we were always being watched by undercover policemen. But one of those people that came to that rally was a man by the name of Otis McDonald, and that's how we met. We met rallying to defend civil rights. And Otis was a great man, and his family still lives here. And I stay in touch with him, not as much as I should, but I stay in touch with him. And so from a guy who just wanted to protect his family, we worked together and we overturned the Chicago gun ordinance. We got concealed carry for the state of Illinois, and that's what you can do if you stay organized and stay focused. Otis McDonald is a hero forever.
Yes, he is.
Okay, and so and so were the other three people, because they were all, I'll tell you what, they were worried about that.
But Otis wasn't. Otis wasn't worried at all.
So, but some of the other people were quite worried about this. But, I always said you can kill me, but you probably won't eat me. But we went all the way to the Supreme Court. We changed the law of the entire United States by working together, and that's what you can do.
And it was so beautiful how the Supreme Court ruled this. He said, you give that person a right to carry a weapon in the state of Illinois, you come up with a suitable law, or he will be able to carry under the Constitution.
Right.
And they gave him that little time. How much? I think he gave 90 days, right?
What's that?
He gave them 90. They gave him 90 days to.
Yeah,
put it
it
together.
actually took about 107, but we got it done.
Yeah, they got it. It had to extend it for a period of time.
But that became very, very, very important, and it was interesting. And since then, we have Rhonda Ezell, who's another hero. Rhonda, we have Ezell 1 and Ezell 2. We sued the city of Chicago twice because they wouldn't allow a firing range in the city. You can't, if you have nowhere to exercise your constitutional right, what's good is your constitutional right?
None whatsoever.
None whatsoever. So we have won those cases, and things are changing slowly, but they're changing.
Right.
And so we've done that. We've done all kinds of things that have helped the gun owners of the state, and so, but that's what we can do by working together and staying strong together. And you can't get beat up, pushed down. If you do, just get up again. Simple as that.
Well, I think we've got the right thing going.
We do.
We'll talk about that, yes.
So.
And tonight I want to invite all of our viewers to be in Melrose Park at, I don't have the address with me. Oh, my goodness. But anyway, it's in Melrose Park on 19th and Lake. 19th and Lake. You come there where you see all those cars there, just come in, okay? So there's a beautiful restaurant there where you got beautiful food. But I don't have the address. Richard, so nice to have you on the show.
Thank you very much for inviting me. It's been a real pleasure.
Let the audience know that we're going
to do this again, I think.
Yes, as often as we possibly can to get motivation going.
We will, so.
Okay.
All right, thank you
very much. Thank you very much for joining us on Straight Talk, and we'll see you this time again tomorrow.